Hi everyone, it's Roger and James here from the What's On Disney Plus podcast. In this week's episode, we're going to be going through all the stuff that's going to be coming to Disney Plus in September. We're also going to be going through some of the new British stuff that's been announced this week, and also going through all of the Disney Plus days because we've got a full lineup of what's coming that day. So, yeah, we're going to jump into it. But before we do so, make sure you do subscribe to hear us here on the YouTube channel. You can also subscribe on the audio platform. Check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. And also make sure you follow us on Facebook and Twitter, especially with D23 coming up, because Twitter will probably be the way I'll be getting out little snips and bits and pieces while we're at the D23 Expo. Right. Okay. So let's talk about, first off, what's coming to Disney Plus in the US. And we'll also be doing a little bit with Canada and the UK as well, because we've got the lists as well for them. And while we're doing so, we're going to jump into the the Disney Plus Day stuff. Right. Okay. So here we go. So as per usual, right through the whole of September, there's going to be a new episode of She-Hulk every single Thursday. So we'll get that one out of the way. We're going to talk about She-Hulk episode 2 a little bit later on. At the end of the show. Also on Friday, the 2nd of September, well, there's 10 ESPN, there's about 10, 12 ESPN documentaries coming. I'm not going to list them all off, though there is one from Ric Flair. They're slowly filling up. They put like 8 or 9 on yesterday without announcing them in advance. So if you like ESPN documentaries, you're doing good on Disney Plus. I mean, at least internationally it makes sense, but in the US, like, you have ESPN Plus. Do you either do it or don't? Stop this kind of messing about.
Licensing rules, contracts. That's all I can think of.
Yes. Okay, so on Wednesday, the 7th of September, you're going to be getting a new series, Edge of the Unknown, with Jimmy Chin. This one will be debuting on Disney Plus, and then will be also on National Geographic. I'm interested to see. I like those kind of adventure ones. We also got Europe from Above seasons 3 and 4, Prime Survivor, Mighty Mekon season 1, some Puppy Dog Pals, and also the penultimate episode of High School Musical, the music of the series, which I'm going to remember to talk about that a little bit later on, because I've been enjoying that show. The third season's been pretty fun. Right, let's jump into the big one. Disney Plus Day, Thursday, the 8th of September. There is a lot of content coming. So obviously, in addition to She-Hulk, we are going to be getting Frozen and Frozen 2 sing-along. I mean, we're going to get the big ones out of the way first. Some new episodes of Mickey Mouse Funhouse will be dropping in the US. The other big one, Thor Love and Thunder, will be dropping as we predicted. That's going to be a big movie release for that day. There's also going to be an assembled episode for this one. I mean, we've been saying for weeks that we thought this is what they were going to do, weren't we?
It lines up nicely in terms of timing. I know they announced the Blu-rays and the 4Ks as well at the same time. It just makes sense. It gets people hyped going into D23.
I think it's about 60 days. I think it was around there that will work out, which I actually think is probably the better. I think I think also it's good sometimes when Disney will get to 45 days and then start promoting it, rather than they don't want to promote it while it's still in the cinema. So, but I think that's good. We're also getting Cars on the Road, a brand new collection of 9 shorts. So they should be a lot of fun. Just ahead of the debut of the new Dancing with the Stars show, there's going to be like the pros' most memorable dances, as they look back at 20 memorable dances from the 30 seasons of Dancing with the Stars. That is just US and Canada for that one, because you guys are getting the live version from the 19th of September. Every Monday, you're going to get a new live episode. Not international, unfortunately, and it doesn't look like it'll be coming anyway. Well, I know you're looking forward to that one.
Oh, desperately. For international, it's coming in on a different service, isn't it?
Well, we have Strictly Come Dancing here in the UK, so we got we have our own version, and most countries have their own version, so they don't really want to cross over with. Ironically, the thing, I'll be honest, I actually would watch this because I don't really. I could quite nicely have a recap on what's actually happened in the US and how it works and stuff, because we used to have Len and Bruno as our judges over here, so I'm used to the format, because that's what it was based on.
I don't even know who that is.
No. Right,
but I know that the importance of that, though, even if you're not interested in the show itself, is that a whole lot of people are going to want to learn how to set up Disney Plus so they can watch this show that's been very popular here in the States for a very long time now.
Yeah, so that one's looking good. We're also getting the entire first season of Epic Adventures with Bertie Gregory, 5 episodes, where he kind of goes off looking after just trying to film some amazing footage and stuff. So that one's going to be a good fun one. There's also going to be getting Growing Up, which is a documentary about each episode is about an individual with their life stories and stuff. We're also getting Obi-Wan Kenobi, A Jedi's Return, which a lot of people thought was going to be the second season, but no, that is just a making of documentary. I gotta be honest, the poster and stuff did really do like that's not selling that it's a making of documentary.
No, that it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, A Jedi's Return, a making of documentary. Yeah, it's tiny, and it's interesting they ditched the gallery name for it, which would have helped as well.
I feel like the Disney Gallery, they should have used that for everything rather than as that and made that into a series. But obviously, it's a lot better for Disney to put everything out there as individual titles to make it look like they've got a lot more, like I Am Groot. Did you notice with your Disney Plus app this week of how green everything was between all the I Am Groots, the She-Hulk, and Buzz Lightyear? It just dominated. You go into Disney Plus, it was just like, and then I was like, you had like it's a very green Disney Plus right now.
Almost like it's Earth Day, except not. But yeah. There is a predominantly green theme. I don't think they planned that, but it worked out that way.
Yes. We're also getting Pinocchio, a brand new live action film that they released a trailer as well this week. It looked really good. I kind of was a bit like, they should have put this in cinemas. This could have made a couple $100 million, I think. It looks pretty fun. I'm excited to watch this one.
Well, I mean, you don't get Tom Hanks and then just kind of slap something together. At least I would hope not. He's an excellent actor. But yeah, it would be interesting if COVID had never happened, if this might have had a theatrical run instead of going straight to Disney Plus. But it's our benefit for sure. This does look better than I was expecting, and it does look like they're. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, it kind of, in some ways, it was a bit like they're releasing so much content on the day. It's like this is getting a little bit overshadowed because of all this other stuff. I was like, this is top tier stuff here.
Yeah, the trailer looks very good for it, and obviously Thor: Love and Thunder is going to catch a lot of people's eyes when that drops. And well, I'm hoping at the very least that it'll be a shame if people don't watch it. I'm looking forward to this more than I was. I was kind of original, like, it's another remake. It's going directly to Disney Plus. Lady and the Tramp wasn't that great of a remake. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I'm marginally optimistic now about it. And of course, as I was saying, Tom Hanks, he doesn't attach his name to just anything.
No, that one's looking good. We're also getting Remembering. Now, this one looks like it's only going to be in the US. It's made by Brie Larson, I think, is involved in this one. But you need an augmented reality TV app, and so therefore that's only why it's in the US by the looks of it. Probably because Disney doesn't want to spend money on putting it out onto all the different app stores and the different rules and stuff. It's just a shame. It's a little bit like, well, again, a nice little gimmick, little tryout stuff, but it's a bit of a shame. It's pretty restrictive.
It is. It'd be nice if they could get a bigger audience for it. But this is the kind of thing that Disney Plus will hopefully be good for, because you don't want to try this in a theater. It's too expensive to ask people to do that in the theater. But at home with an app, when your phone's probably right nearby anyway, it's a good thing. So I haven't seen it. I have no idea how well this is going to work, but I'll probably give it a try. Maybe not on Disney Plus Day, considering that would be a pain to try to set up in a hotel room.
Yeah.
But when I get back, maybe.
Yes. Also, we're going to be getting a new Simpsons short called Welcome to the Club, where basically Lisa becomes a Disney villain. So that should be it should be a short little thing. I can't imagine that's very long. We're also getting Terra Incognita, which is a new Latin American Disney Plus series. So that one's getting a global release. Also, internationally, we're getting Wedding Season, a brand new 8-part drama series that features UK and in America. Reviews coming up next week. There will be an interview coming up on the YouTube channel on this coming Sunday with Gavin, who is the main star of the series. So I can't say anything more, but this do not sleep on Wedding Season. It will be on Hulu in the United States. Also in the UK, we're getting Mike. We're getting the new Mike Tyson series. For some reason, they held it back in the UK. I know the first couple episodes have gone up on Hulu in the US and in Canada and Australia on Disney Plus, but they're holding it back for us. So it's a nice collection of stuff. Honestly, don't sleep on Wedding Season. That's my hint on this one. I think that's a really good lineup for Disney Plus. So it feels a bit stronger than last year.
It does. I mean, even if you took Thor out of this lineup, which is the obvious headliner, there's a lot to talk about on this. Whereas in previous, last year, it was like, here's your one big thing, and here's a whole bunch of stuff we're just going to kind of throw on here to hope people notice, and that was about it. This time there's a lot, and it's kind of interesting because a lot of the target audience are going to be at D23 or monitoring D23 stuff. I wonder how much it's going to slide under the radar.
Right, and I'm going to say this again with Disney Plus Day. Do not expect lots of announcements to be made just during the day. I'm going to go into some other bits and pieces with else that's happening on Disney Plus Day in a second. But there is no mention anywhere in any of the press release about news. They say surprises for members or for subscribers and stuff like that, but it does not state that anywhere that there was. They said, like, there'll be special premieres, early access to parks, and products announced for Disney Plus subscribers. No mention of announcements, because there are going to be major presentations happening right through the D23 Expo, which we will get onto in a little bit. But I just want to reiterate, there might be some. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some like little announcements go out throughout the day on social media, but there is no big presentation. There's no big trailers dropping. This is all about, it's more about getting new subscribers in. It's like a celebration of Disney Plus, rather than we're having a big news event, because we're going to be doing all the news over the next few days afterwards. I just wanted to reiterate this, because I still keep seeing so many people going, it's like, no, they're not. They're not going to announce a new Star Wars series there. They're going to do it 2 days later when there's a Lucasfilm panel at the D23 Expo.
Yeah. No, the major items are going to be at Hall D23 on Friday and Saturday, with a couple trickling into the smaller halls on Sunday. There might be announcements on Thursday, but they're going to be things like, Mickey's Clubhouse is renewed for another season, or things that you might be excited for, but they're not the big news items that the press is going to be looking for.
I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised as if they were going to do any announcements. Maybe something like Star Wars: The Bad Batch may be announced, because it kind of got out there and then they've kind of deleted anything about it. There could be little stuff, but nowhere in their word of what they're talking about does it mention news announcements. And I just want to reiterate that, so people aren't disappointed on the day. Also, like I said, there's going to be a lot of new merchandise that's going to be announced in the coming week ahead or two. There'll be probably a load of special stuff on Shop Disney, which is always annoying, because I know last year I couldn't buy anything. Right, so at the Disney park,
this year you will be in the States while it is happening, so maybe you'll get lucky this time.
Yes, I'll hopefully be able to pick some stuff up, some new bits and pieces. But if you're at the theme parks, you are going to be able to have some special activities happening at Walt Disney World in Florida, and in Disneyland California, and in Disneyland Paris, along with Hong Kong Disneyland. They're going to be getting some special things happening, special photographs, special areas. I know, like at Disney in the US, you're going to have free photo pass. If you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you can get into the park half an hour earlier. If you're staying at the resort, you not only get your half an hour extra, you get the extra Disney Plus. So you get in, I think we can get in at 7 o'clock in the morning, which will be great for me, because I'll have jet lag. I'm going to be up at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, well, this might be the best time for me to get in.
Did I also read? I know that the D23 like gold members can go and get a special card. I think I saw Disney Plus. You can go to the will call office at the Anaheim Convention Center and get a little card. It's like Disney Plus subscriber.
Because how this is going to work is there's actually going to be you can go around in, like, there's a big hall pavilion, and you're going to be able to like collect cards and collectibles and stuff if you have this pass. But more also, just as important, they're giving discounts at a lot of the retailers. Some of them are on par with the D23 one. Some of them, the D23 gets you a better discount. But if you're it's gonna, if you want to buy a painting or something, there's like 5% off or 20% off depending on the different thing. So there is some benefits to being a Disney Plus subscriber. I'll pick up the pass, see what it's like and stuff. But so there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. If you're a Disney Vacation Club member or members aboard the Disney Wonder, there's going to be some special gifts from Disney Plus. There's going to be some experiences taking place. There's also going to be lots more bits and pieces going on. But so going to be fun. Lots of little, they're kind of going in a little bit more heavy on it this year. The corporate synergy, which is kind of quite nice because I'll be honest, I think had it been like in November, I would have been like, well, should we? It's like, it's not the case of, oh, we'll go to Paris for the day just to kind of see what it's like. I think the fact that it's like we planned to be there before the D23, and it'll be quite. I know I'm going to be going around trying to find all the Disney Plus stuff at the park because, well, I'm there. It's kind of like, okay. But it's it's that kind of thing. If you're at the parks that day, it's going to be great, and I think it is a good. I suspect there'll be stuff happening around the world. I mean, there's the fact that even the UK press releases have been talking about the parks and stuff. This is what they really want. They want that cross synergy across all the different networks.
Well, that, and they want people at the parks. I know they've been packed.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have been complaining about that, but this does act as a kind of an advertisement reminder that yes, the parks are open. We have capacity. The rides are open, and so on. And they want people to remember that, not just the locals in Anaheim and Orlando and Paris who get to go every day.
And also as well, it's a good advertisement for you got probably between the 4 theme parks, you've got to be talking 500,000 plus between all 4 theme parks on that day are going to have Disney Plus kind of a massive, great big advert for it.
In addition to all the buses that have it plastered on the sides and up in the things. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I can't wait to go and see what's going to go on there. We're probably not going to get to go on any rides because it's going to be so packed there. But
yeah, I mean, it's going to be a weird day. It's going to be a weird day. All I know is I just want to get on go to Galaxy's Edge. That's my target for the day.
Yeah,
right. Let's
and not even like I need to go on Millennium Falcon or I need to go on Rise of the Resistance. Just got to be in Galaxy's Edge and experience that place.
Yeah, I've been so dying to see that place since it got announced. That just looks fantastic. Right, let's get back to the list. Actually, while we're on it, before we carry on the list, we'll just do a little bit on the plan for. We'll carry on with the list. That's what we're doing. Right. So Friday, the September the 9th, and this is a little bit of a letdown after the day. You get United Sharks of America. There we go. It's just like, could you not have spread this out a little bit? just like, there you go. Here's a shark documentary. It's like, what was the point?
I mean, I do like shark documentaries, but it does feel like, well, we have to put something out because this is our normal release day for some items. Here you go. Sharks. Yeah. Okay. I definitely will not be watching it until I get back home. I'm not going to set time aside on Friday on D23 opening day.
No. Then on Wednesday, September the 14th, we're getting First Alaskans, In the Womb, Animal Babies, the finale of High School Musical, the musical, the series, and a brand new short circuit short, which I'm looking forward to because I love those. I thought they were great. The first 2 seasons.
For the most part, they are really well done. So I don't even know what this short circuit is about. I saw that there was one. Like, I don't need to read anymore. I'm going to watch that when it comes out because they've just been really good quality and entertaining.
On Friday, September the 16th, we're getting a Coke-Along Sing-Along, The Art of Racing in the Rain, which is a nice movie. Anything with a dog like that's going to make me cry. And then Maja, which is a new documentary that they picked up early this year from the festivals and stuff. So that will be a global release for that Disney Plus original. As I said, on Monday, September the 19th, the brand new season of Dancing with the Stars starts, and that's going to be every Monday right through the fall. On Wednesday, the 21st of September, we're getting new episodes of Firebuds and Wicked Tuna Outer Banks. So I do believe with the Outer Tuna Outer Banks, they put it on by mistake and then they've had to remove it because they re-advertised it. So I was a bit like, okay. But the big one, obviously, 3 episodes of Andor, the brand new Star Wars series. Can't wait for that one because this morning I watched a Rogue One again. So getting myself warmed up. And Andor is, I'll be honest, that is the one I am really looking forward to next month.
That trailer that we got recently looked fantastic. They really captured the look and feel of Rogue One, and I can't wait to see Andor. They're even re-releasing Rogue One in theaters here for a temporary bit. Now, I think it's only in IMAX theaters, and I do not have a good IMAX near me, but I will be watching it here at home.
Just sit closer to the screen. That's the trick.
Well, but the thing about IMAX is the sound system is crazy. But yeah, either way, they're making a big push for it. They have a lot of confidence in this one. Obviously, we said a lot of the same things about Obi-Wan, and that was really good, but it also had some what's going on with this scene? So we'll see.
I've got a lot more faith in this one because this
too.
one is there was an event here in the UK for like Empire magazine readers, and there was a lot of talk from about how he's not doing fan service. It's not about they're not doing the like cameo of the week kind of stuff and loads of gimmicks. This is a gritty series aimed at adults. It's not in, and the tone's different, and it's just like, yeah, this is the one I'm looking forward to. And I've, like the Book of Boba Fett and all, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was excited, but Andor was the one that I've been probably. I mean, that was one of the first Disney Plus originals. I mean, we were talking about when we were doing this podcast maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah,
it's how long it's taken.
It's been a little while, but even back then, it was one of the ones where like, yes, this is great. Expand on Rogue One. I'd love to learn more about these characters. Obviously, we'll learn about Andor, and if this is successful, maybe we'll get some of the other characters too, learn some of their backstories. I'd especially love to see the two friends from Jeddah. They make a really fun, like kung fu-esque action series out of them. Would be great. Cool. But let's get to Andor first. This looks great.
So that one's the 12 episode series. So obviously we're getting 3 episodes then. So then there'll be another, like at least another 9 weeks. So that'll be taking us right through to Thanksgiving. We're also getting Supernatural, a brand new National Geographic documentary with Benedict Cumberbatch, where we learn about animal superpowers. Friday, the 23rd of September, we're getting Saving Giraffes, The Long Journey Home, Spies in Disguise, and The Call of the Wild. So we're starting to see those those ones leaving HBO. Seems to be a lot of them. A couple of them have left and going to Hulu as well. So the HBO deal is starting to kick in with. But the trouble is, and this is the issue, is it's like, yeah, we got those 3 great movies, and then it's going, yeah, but we didn't then have like a 9-month period where no movies were released because of the pandemic. So it might be a while till we get, like, I think New Mutants might be the next one that was released.
I don't want to speculate too much, but I suspect that HBO might be interested in cutting some deals for some fast cash at the moment. So I don't have any like secret knowledge or stuff, but now might be an interesting time for the Disney PR guys to be talking to the HBO guys and seeing if they can accelerate some contracts.
If they can't do what they did with Netflix, this is the time. This is the time to go. David, yeah, you want some money? You want some money?
I mean, we talked about HBO last week, but obviously they're making moves that you don't make unless you need money drastically, like about to lose everything kind of money. I don't
think they're in there. I don't think they're in that thing, but I think there's definitely a lot of issues going on. Right, let's finish off the September list for the US. So on Wednesday, September the 28th. Some new Minnie Mouse cartoons, some new episodes of Life Below Zero, Northern Territories, plus the first episode of the 2nd season of the Mighty Ducks Game Changers. So that's going to be good to get that one back.
I mean, yeah, the first season wasn't great, but hopefully this time they're not getting caught by surprise by COVID, and they can make a more coherent story. It is too bad Emilio Estevez will not be rejoining, but
I really like Josh, so that I'm quite happy, and I don't have the nostalgia for Mighty Ducks the same way that because I didn't watch it too recently. So for me, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go into this fresh eyes, just like, let's see what this is. Let's see how they improve it. If it's not so good, then it will just become, I'll watch it at some point, because it just doesn't become day one release.
Yeah, and it's just to clarify, it's not even nostalgia for Emilio Estevez. I think he did bring a certain amount of like authenticity to it, not just because he was in the movie, but he's actually
the Mighty Ducks. He's what people think. Yeah,
he is, and he's just a good actor in general. You can put his name on the poster. He's not an A-lister, but people recognize the name and it give it a feeling of, oh, they put some actual money into the series. And having said that, still looking forward to season 2. I really hope that they kind of cleaned it up.
Yeah. Then finally on Wednesday, August, this keeps getting me with Disney's press release. It's got the wrong date and the wrong.
We'll blame Disney.
Yeah. So on Friday, the 30th of September. No, I'm literally. It says Wednesday, August 31st, and I said it in the video, and I'm like, well, So that's. But they're getting.
I know which one you're
Yeah.
looking at. So yes, it is them.
Yes. So August. So we're not getting in August. We're going to be getting Hocus Pocus 2, a brand new film. We're also getting Hocus Pocus, the 25th anniversary Halloween bash, and Under Wraps 2, which is about 4 or 5 days after debuts on the Disney Channel. They're not going with a dual release, or I suspect. I mean, they're going to be doing some testing. They're going to be looking at how all this stuff worked. So a very Halloweeny end to the month, which is, I know the pumpkin spice lattes are now in Starbucks, and Disney's going to be done up in Halloween, but it's still like heat wave, you know, here in the UK. We're still in summer. So there we go. That is all the US list. So what jumped out at you from them?
I mean, let's just shovel past She-Hulk and Andor and Thor: Love and Thunder. Those are the obvious ones. I'm gonna have to go with the ones we just mentioned. Hocus Pocus 2. I have said this repeatedly. Hocus Pocus 1 was kind of lightning in a bottle. I don't have, the blind faith that Hocus Pocus 2 is going to be a recapturing it. But having said that, I'm like, yeah, as long as it's entertaining, as long as it's fun, I'm going to enjoy this one. Admittedly, I might be more interested in the 25th anniversary special though than Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah, I have. My problem with Hocus Pocus is I've only recently watched it in the last year for Halloween.
Right.
I don't have nostalgia for this thing, so I don't have nostalgia goggles. So it was like I was a bit like, is this what everyone was excited about? It's not that good.
I mean, it's not that great, but it's also not that bad. It still holds up well enough. You do have to, it's the 90s. There are things that would now make that story completely ineffective, and of course, they're going to have to work around it. I think the big thing about it, though, is that we don't have that many Halloween stories, movies worth watching. It's that and The Nightmare Before Christmas, and that's it. I mean, you can watch Zombies or Under Wraps or something like that if that's your thing, but it's
just watch Aliens or Predator or a whole host of other horror movies, things. There's lots of good ones coming up.
you just may not want to show those to your 6 or your 7-year-old. I know plenty of parents who do, which is fine.
But
which is fine. I get that. It's Halloween, so we're gonna watch we're gonna watch Halloween, or we're gonna watch Friday the 13th or something. But not every parent wants to do that. Sometimes you want to have something a little safer, and then the Sanderson sisters can come into play.
Yes. Right. Some highlights from the UK list. In addition to all the originals are pretty much the same. We're going to be getting The Old Man in the UK at the end of September, and it's going to be a weekly drop from the 28th. I'm really looking forward to seeing that series. Don't know why Disney left it so late on the UK one. We're also getting on the 22nd of September, we're getting new episodes of The Kardashians. That's going to be in Canada and in Australia and on Hulu in the US. I'm looking forward to that one because me and my wife watch that every Thursday when it drops. So that one's looking good. We're also getting, as I said, Wedding Season and Mike are going to be two big series dropping. Just looking here, we're also getting Maggie here in the UK from the 14th of September, and Reasonable Doubt, a new series from the Octave Collective, is coming from the 27th. And a couple of other things that kind of caught my eye. The Greatest Showman is coming to the UK on the 23rd of September. Merlin, all 5 seasons of Merlin are coming on the 7th of September, which is...
I remember that show.
My wife loved this series. She loved it. I mean, it's like Game of Thrones light. And then...
It's like Game of Thrones with 1990s special effects. Yeah.
And also we're getting Grid and Rookie Cops, some of the Korean content coming in there. Some highlights as well from Canada in terms of the Star stuff. I mean, they're getting obviously Dancing with Stars, the same with the US. Reboot, the new series about Hulu, that's dropping on September the 20th. Same thing in Australia and New Zealand. No word yet on the UK. We're just, for some reason, the things are just sliding aside here in the UK. American Horror Stories Season 2 will be dropping from September the 7th in Australia. They're also getting new episodes. I mean, this is Wednesday. This is a Wednesday in Canada on the 7th. They're getting American Horror Story, The Bear, Fearless, Grid, Maggie, Motherland, Fort Salem, Reservation Dogs Season 2, which is coming back, Solar Opposites, Tell Me Lies, the brand new series. There's a new episodes of at least 8 shows dropping every Wednesday. There's got a lot of stuff dropping right through. We're also getting The Patient is dropping every Tuesday in Australia and in Canada. I'm just seeing here which other ones we're getting. are also getting the D'Amelio show coming at the end on September the 28th. And there's also a new Korean show, May It Please the Court. And also Best in Dough, which is a show coming onto Hulu. So Canada's really kind of picking up. It hasn't got a lot of library content, but the originals are just drop. I mean, they go, wow, they're getting like 12 to 15 shows probably about 15 shows a week with new episodes.
Maybe I need to move to Canada, because then it would speed up the whole merging process here. But,
yeah.
Oh well.
And also as well, I mean, you get maple syrup on everything, and everyone's, yeah, I love Canada. I do like Canada. Right. Okay. So that is all the stuff coming in. Lots of different things. Hopefully, with the UK, we get a couple of other things like reboot. I don't know why everything's a little bit later coming in. We're getting Candy, for example, in October. That got announced this week. I don't know if it's due to dubbing with we're getting branded in with the whole of Europe, so we have to wait till that seems to be the only logical reason I can think of why Europe's having to wait a little bit longer.
The only other thing that I considered is that they might be running up against those contract agreements that they made with a lot of European countries, the UK included, which you have to have X percentage of content being local, and they're trying to kind of stem off that percentage getting skewed a lot more towards American. That's kind of a reach, but that's the only other explanation I could come up with.
The thing is, it's like here in the UK on a Friday, we got like 14 brand new. We got 14 movies on, and usually about 10. We usually get about 10 British movies a week dropping on there, because they're obviously going to get that quota up. There's some amazing British movies dropping onto Disney Plus just to try and. I think a lot of these movies are being sold to all of the platforms to make sure that they can. They're not exclusive, but yeah, it's a nice little. Literally at the minute, because we don't have an official list, we only have a limited list. Literally, it is like, let's turn it on at 8:00 and see what we got. It can be, you have no idea what's coming on. And we didn't even know, like Fearless, a new Australian series, didn't even know that was coming. I knew obviously it was coming to Australia, but we didn't know it was coming in the EU. And I don't think they even announced it for the US for Hulu. It was a little bit, I don't know why they didn't even put that on Disney Plus in the US. It is a Disney Plus original everywhere, but they put it on Hulu.
I have no idea. Can't even speculate on that one.
Right. Speaking of, let's do some D23 stuff. We had some announcements regarding the live stream. So we know what's going to be live streamed. As we would suspect, the two major studio showcases are not going to be live streamed. So studio showcase number 1 is taking place on the Friday afternoon with Pixar, Walt Disney Animation, and Walt Disney Studios. And we knew that I had a feeling it wasn't going to be live streamed because they put it in the description. You cannot take cameras or anything in there. So that was like, okay. And then there's another studio showcase on the Saturday morning with Marvel, Lucasfilm, and 20th Century Studios. That one is also not being live streamed. I know there's a lot of people that are like, they should live stream them. And there's a whole load of people going, no, they shouldn't. I understand from the point of view of if you're not there, you want to see what's going on. And, they could maybe edit bits and pieces out. But also, as somebody going for the first time, I'm a bit like, well, I'm kind of going there. If I could stream it all from home, I wouldn't have actually needed to have gone. So there's a kind of catch-22. Catch-22. I'm glad that I am glad that some of it is, because I'll be honest, if I wasn't going, and I have been the person sat at home watching from afar through people's periscopes and live feeds and dodgy photographs and tweets, and I have been there for the last like 5-6 D23. So I'm 100% on board on making it easier for us to watch from afar. So I definitely agree with that one.
The only reason I think that they're not really streaming those ones in particular is your stream is basically going to be a couple of guys making an announcement. Here's a trailer that you can't watch. Couple guys making an announcement. Here's Chris Hemsworth to talk about this. And trailer I can't watch. It's just going to be long stretches of black bars or we'll be right back signs.
Well, they're a good 2 hours each, those showcases.
Yeah.
As well. So what they are live streaming is on the Friday morning, they are going to be live streaming the Disney Legends ceremony, which they're going to be giving awards out to people including Chadwick Boseman, the cast of Blackish, Frozen, and Grey's Anatomy. There could be some announcements because they're kicking off the Disney 100s. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad place to make a few little announcements, but I'm not expecting anything there.
There will be announcements, but they probably won't be Marvel, Star Wars, or the major Disney items. It'll be maybe a couple of movies that we've known about, and they're just kind of officially announcing. But again, the big announcements are coming at the two we just talked. Well, mentioned. We didn't really talk about them.
Yeah, and there's going to be a Disney Games showcase in the afternoon that will be live streamed, and there's some other bits and pieces. And you find the full list. On the Saturday there is a couple of ones being live streamed, including Bob's Burgers panel, which I thought was interesting from a couple of points. First off, 20th Century Studios getting a little bit of light on the live stream is because there's not a lot of 20th Century stuff, but I thought that was interesting that one kind of got a little bit of activity.
Well, I mean, they did just have the movie, and obviously it's still a very popular show. So if you're going to pick some Fox content, it's going to be that, and it's going to be one which you're probably about to mention, which is The Simpsons, of course.
Yeah, but Simpsons wasn't on the.
It's not on the stream.
No,
sorry, guys. Not. I could have sworn I saw that. Sorry,
there's the Marvel Comics Spider-Man one. But the big one really that I think most of our audience is going to be interested in is Disney's epic entertainment showcase, the musical, The Extravaganza, which is taking place at 3:30. I'm glad I got that one out in one go. So we're going to be getting Disney branded television for an exclusive showcase of highlights of legacy of excellence in storytelling and including talent experiences, performances, never seen before previews of original content for Disney Plus, Disney Channel, and Disney Junior. So that will probably include the Santa Clauses and also probably National Treasure, Big Shots. We've also got like Mysterious Benedict Society, because I know the cast is going to be there on that day to take photographs. So if there's an announcement, I'm really glad that this presentation is being live streamed, because I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. I think this one's going to have a lot of I think we're going to have some entertainment with maybe some of the singing from like the Zombies or High School Musical. The name alone says there's got to be something from High School Musical, because that's straight out.
Yeah, that's straight out High School Musical, the Extravaganza, the Showcase, the Broadway experience, whatever. Yeah, this one should be entertaining. Obviously, it's not going to catch quite as much as the big ones, but I think this is one worth tuning into. Now, is this at Hall D23? Is this on one of the side ones?
This is the big panel on the Saturday afternoon.
And and the fact that it's at Hall D23 means that it is a major one, because they are saving that hall specifically for the very big announcements. All the other stuff shuffled off to other ones. The fact that it's on Hall D23 means you can have confidence that they are putting a lot of weight behind this.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm kind of this one to me is the it's kind of weird because I feel like it's the Disney Plus presentation, because it's like this is really going to be up our street. This is going to be full of fun stuff. The Disney branded television are really like cranking out some great stuff, and some talent. It's just like I'm certainly not overlooking for. This is yes, the other two big studio showcases are fun, but this one to me is just on par with it. This is one I'm really looking forward to seeing.
We might be a little biased in that case.
However. Well, it was. I'm allowed to be biased.
We are. No. We're not claiming this is unbiased journalism here. This is a Disney Plus podcast. We are interested in the Disney Plus presentation. Just saying.
Shock. Yeah. Then on the Sunday, there's going to be the Disney Parks and Experiences and Products presentation taking place in the morning, and going to be that one. Actually, is really. I'm glad that they're live streaming that one, because Disney Park fans, this is amazing. I've always watched all the news coming out the parks and stuff, because this is when they, as a parks fan, it's really good that one's being live streamed.
Yeah, and this is the show where you often get some of the big announcements. We've seen a lot of the roller coasters debut there. Galaxy's Edge was debuted there. Even things like the gondolas were debuted there. I remember them showing them for the first time, I think in 2019.
I think even like a new cruise ship. I think a new cruise ships.
So it's obviously not for this podcast. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time unless they announce like we're going to have a D23 theater built in DCA or something like that.
Well, I mean, I could easily see some stuff, maybe like second season of Animal Kingdom being announced. Something like Imagineering, the Mickey Mouse documentary that's coming. I could see some little sneak peeks thrown in here. I'm going to be definitely keeping my ear out. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there was some Disney theme park related Disney Plus stuff. So it's good that one's been like, and also to be honest, the morning time is really good as well for international folks. It's not a stupid time in the morning. There's other presentations going on throughout the day, but that one, those are the real ones. And the Disney Princess big show that they're doing on the Sunday evening is also not being live streamed. So we're getting 3 of the big presentations in the whole D23 being live streamed. You can catch it on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all the social media. It's a shame. I mean, it's a shame they're not doing live streaming it in Disney Plus. But they've not announced it. But yeah, so you find out the main idea with this really is just to get it out on social. That's what they're there for. It's promotion. So yeah, lots of live stream going on. I'll be honest, if I was not going to D23, I'd be happy with that, because I'd be going, okay, I got the Disney Channel show one and also the Disney Park one. So I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I never really expected the other 2 showcases to be live streamed. And also, Disney might be putting out live tweets of like logos and information coming out of the event. But if they like the Pixar one, we won't be, because we won't be allowed to use our phones. So there's going to be more of a delay of getting that information out from that. So don't expect a lot of news in that because if they block everyone from having their phones and stuff, the press won't be able to get that information, and people won't be able to get their information out as quickly.
Yeah, no, they've been very clear in all of the material. It's like, you are not bringing your phone in, you're not bringing your iPad in, you're not bringing anything that's got a camera attached to it.
Yeah,
you're definitely not bringing your camera in. So
yeah, so there we go. So that is all of that. There was also before we head off, a lot of news from the UK Disney Plus this week. We had the Edinburgh TV Festival. It's almost as if they were keeping a lot of information back for D23 and didn't want to let everyone, So Disney's been able to keep in the news because they've announced lots of information. We've got a brand new series called Rivals, which is based on Jilly Cooper's, what's a kind of, what did I see on one website? A bonk buster.
A what?
A bonk buster. I don't know if bonking is maybe a British term.
I'm thinking something's getting lost in translation. I'm generally pretty good with
British slang.
With British slang. Like when we talk about Welcome to Wrexham here in a little bit, I'm like, yeah, I know most of what they're talking. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, let's just say Netflix and chill. There we go.
This is kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, so we're getting this series. Interesting enough, in the description, it does say that the original series will premiere on Disney Plus in Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Asia, Pacific, and Star Plus in Latin America. No mention of the US, so I don't know what's going on with that one. But this one, this is all about it's like 1980s Britain. Jilly Cooper's books are notoriously known for for sex talk. So this is very different. This is not your typical. This is not I got up in the morning and went, okay, that wasn't on the list. This week it's been full of surprises.
Yeah, no, that you saying that doesn't, because the reason I was like, this does sound like something, but no, we couldn't be talking about that. Oh, okay, all right, sure.
Yeah, there we are.
There we go.
We're also getting a new series called 1,000 Blows. No connection to what the other one was. So this one is about a 12-part boxing series set in Victoria, London in the 1880s, and it's going to star Stephen Graham, and it's being created by Stephen Knight, who is behind Peaky Blinders, Taboo. So this is going to be a gritty British Victorian about boxing. I'm really excited. This one is just like, this is gonna be real, proper British.
Well, I was kind of like, it sounds interesting up until you got to Peaky Blinders. Like, oh, all right, Peaky Blinders. That is a really good show. Now we've got some weight behind this one. This is the first I'm hearing of that one, but that does sound interesting.
Yeah, so we got that. That's that one been announced. We've also got a number of other unscripted stuff that has been announced. We've got Wagatha Christie, which is all about so this one was basically a law. There was a whole thing going on between some of the footballers' wives on Instagram, and it's ended up going to court. It's come Colleen Rooney, Wayne Rooney's wife, big footballer. I couldn't care less, to be honest, about this one. It's literally along the lines of, really, Disney. This was like one of those things of going, this could have been on this. I know Discovery were after it, but they should have let them have it. This is just not. I'm not going to hold over my bias. I mean, I enjoyed Welcome to Wrexham, but this is like, I'm really not interested in what some of their wives said on Instagram and the legal battles. It's like,
This sounds like it's more targeting the kind of Kardashian
I like the
audience.
Kardashians. I like the D'Amelios. This is just like, oh, I really don't care. Right, so we're getting that.
But
Yeah.
as we'll talk about with Welcome to Wrexham, our opinion on sports does not represent the vast majority of people's opinion on sports. So there's probably a bigger audience for this than we think there is.
Yes, we're also getting a new 4-part documentary about Brawn, the £1 Formula One team, which is going to be presented by Keanu Reeves. He brought, apparently this is about the remarkable story of a British Formula One team that costs just £1. And there's going to have a number of people involved in this one. So that one, we've known about it in the past, but now we've got it officially confirmed. We're also getting, yeah, carry on.
Just saying. And again, Formula One, not something I know a lot about. I've actually learned a bit recently, but it is a huge sport. So this is probably going to be a pretty big item.
It's interesting because to me that's like, oh, there's an interest in that with this idea of like, you know, there's someone who brought the it could be an interesting story. And then Keanu Reeves being involved is like, he's obviously got you know, he's interested in it. So that one sounds quite interesting. We're also getting Finding Michael, which is a feature-length documentary about Michael Matthews, who's become the youngest Briton to submit Mount Everest, but 3 hours after he reached the top, he disappeared into the snow and his body was never found. And it's all about basically finding him, which sounds a little bit like that one that was on National Geographic earlier. We had an original earlier this year, kind of very similar to that one. So
although
that one,
I'm presuming this is not being produced by his kids like that one was.
No.
But also it is a good reminder for anybody who does any form of mountaineering. The return trip is often more dangerous than the climb. So take it seriously. If even Mount Everest summiters are going missing on the descent.
We're also getting In Vogue, the 90s. This is the inside story of a fashion that defined a decade. So this is going to have a whole load of people from Vogue magazine. So yeah, if you're interested in fashion, I could probably say I'm probably still in my 1990s fashion of just t-shirt and Bermuda shorts. We're also getting.
I won't even pretend. I have no idea about fashion. I am lucky if I look even remotely coordinated in what I'm wearing on any given day.
We're also getting Camden, which is a 4-part original documentary series. And this one is all about how a small corner of North London changed the music we know. Yeah, so very different. Good to see all this British stuff coming in. We've also got, let me find here. We've also got another British one. Oh yeah, here we go. This one's a Disney Plus original, but we know this one's going to be coming everywhere because it was on the US sent out the information as well. The Ballad of Renegade Neil, which is going to be a new series. It's going to star Louisa Harland, who you might know from Derry Girls. I love that show. That's such a good comedy.
I've never seen that show, but I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, so this one is she's going to be playing a quick-witted and courageous young woman who finds herself framed for murder and unexpectedly becomes the most notorious highwaywoman in the 18th century England. Got a big cast in there. You've got Adrian Lester. You've also got Joey Richardson. Yeah, this one's going to be a swashbuckling new adventure and fantasy adventure series. Yeah, and 8 episodes, and it's going to be made in the UK. So I'm loving this, you know, more. And we know we've been talking about like the quotering. This is how you get, you know, they need to make original stuff. And this is why having quotas actually can really benefit, because it means that you're going to get different content. Especially like from American point of view, you get content from outside of the US, which is good. Definitely. But also just stories that resemble, you know, as much as, you know, I like American dramas and stuff. Growing up in LA is not really like how I grew up. There's no, you know, there's no kind of connection there at all. And, you know, New York City, yes, I can visualize it, but we don't all want all of our stories just set in Atlanta. You know, that doesn't necessarily represent the people around the world.
No, Atlanta and Vancouver. Yeah. But it can be a double-edged sword sometimes. Like I grew up in Northern Virginia, and I think there's a season of Walking Dead that takes place in Alexandria, in quote unquote. Yeah. And like you see clips from like Alexandria looks nothing like this at all. I absolutely, I know it's shot in Vancouver or Atlanta, but
I really noticed this on Big Sky season 2 because they filmed the first season in Montana. They then moved, and because I did an article, I knew they moved down to I think it was down to New Mexico to film it. And it's like suddenly I can see every time I'm looking at it going, it's extremely dry. It's complete. It's desert. It's like, and then they throw in some B-roll, and you're like, I can tell so that's not made of Montana.
Yeah. However, I don't want to make light of it. It is very important for us to have content from all over the world because it brings all sorts of different perspectives. It brings all sorts of different knowledge. Again, I keep bringing this up. We'll be talking about Welcome to Wrexham. There's a lot of stuff in there I know nothing about, and I'm learning quite a bit as a result of it. And I'm looking forward to seeing these shows coming out of the UK, just like I've been enjoying some of the shows. What was it? I think it was France that we got that superhero show from a couple of months back that was actually pretty solid. And then the Asian shows too.
I'm also, I mean, the French one, and I will say, Ozzykin was the French, it was on Hulu in the US, Disney Plus everywhere. That was an amazing Disney Plus original. And yeah, that was really good. But yeah, it's just nice to have different stories. I think it's good to have this stuff, and as a British, and also it appeals more in the country as well, because what you don't want is if like Disney Plus was just American TV content, there will be a massive chunk of the British audience. I'd be like, I can't, you might have Mandalorian and Spider-Man and all the rest of it, but you do get to a point of like, drama series. You get cop dramas. Our cop dramas are very differently. The pacing's different. They don't all go running in with guns. It's not all shootouts because it's a very different kind of pace.
Yeah.
Right, so there we go. So that is all of the news side of today. There was a lot more. I was expecting a little bit of a quiet week, but it didn't. There was a lot more news than I was expecting. So before we go into reviews, I just want to say a big hello and thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon and YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for your continued support, especially with everything going on. It's fantastic. A big thank you to David Charlton. We've also got Manmad, we've got Raphael, Adam, Dana, Ricky, Dave, My VCR Still Works, Bina, Joshua, Dawn, Martin, and Sarah. While over on the Patreon as well, we've got Babak, we've got Paul, Lauren, we've also got the Juice, Darren, Daniel, Cody, Chris, Aero, Red Marsman, Caleb, Jacob, Elliot, Andrew, and a huge thank you to Sarah for your continued support. And if you are a Patreon or YouTube channel member, make sure you check out the posts for this week's questions coming up. Also, just a quick note, in September, there will be a few less live streams because of not only with D23, but I've also got a vacation. So there'll be a little bit less Q&As this week, but I'll be informing you all of that as we go along. Right, let's get into some reviews. So let's start off with Welcome to Wrexham. What did you think of this one?
I enjoyed it. So we got 2 episodes of it over here. I'm not sure how many you've seen, but
I've seen 5. I was sent. Disney did send me a few, so I'm a few weeks. So it's only the final episode I've not seen, and actually it really helped because I actually ended up watching all 5 back to back, which, considering I don't like football, I thought this did a fantastic job of just giving it away without actually being all about football. But what did you think of it?
No, it was solid in that. Like, the first episode is not so much about the team of Wrexham, it's about the town of Wrexham. It's about why we should care, why it's important that these 2 guys are coming in and buying the team, and what the objectives are. And also, it does a good job of explaining what the stakes are, because obviously the Premiership and the various leagues over there are differently structured than what we're used to in America. And them explaining, if you are in this league and you're in the bottom 4, you're going down to the league below, and the top 4 from that are coming to the top, which actually I really like. I think that adds a lot of stakes to it, but
it very much
to explain that.
Yeah, well, I know this is I've actually seen quite a few people, Americans, talking about this because I don't think they realized what happened. It definitely adds a lot more stakes. I mean, I live in towns that I've always been in the very bottom, other than our rugby team, which is doing really well. But generally, it's always been like relegation is quite normal for my area. But generally, it's there is that thing of the money level between those different leagues. And there's a little part of me going like, why did you? I mean, obviously maybe the club was for sale. That's why they were. It's like, are they trying to get it up to where sort of like Manchester United, and they're thinking long term of like 15, 20, 25 years for it to become a big, because Ryan Reynolds is an entrepreneur. He's in a lot of businesses. I know, like Mint Mobile, there's a gin, sunglasses, all kinds of stuff he does. So he's really kind of spreading out that money, and it does seem a little bit like, why did you do this?
Well, it does sound, we got most of the perspective from the other guy, the one from Sunny.
Yeah, Rob,
It's
yeah.
Always Sunny. Yeah. So it does sound like Ryan is more of an investor and Rob is the
Yeah.
passion behind it.
Yeah.
There might be another episode coming up that explains Ryan's perspective a little more, but it does sound like he's really in on the entrepreneur, especially with what happens at the end of episode 2 when they're talking about, that first season didn't work out quite as well as we want. Now we got to make some changes, and
they do. They make a lot of changes, and they do make a lot of changes because they have to. Because what was it wasn't working. What's happening? I was really impressed with the series. I will be checking out the finale when it drops later next month. And this is from someone that had no interest. The only reason I was watching this was Ryan Reynolds. If it was anybody else, I don't think I probably would have watched it as much. But it was a really good solid. And I think also with it being only like half an hour long, it helps and it doesn't go. It doesn't go too much into the sports factor. It's more about the business side, the connection with the locals. I just thought that overall I enjoyed it. And I was surprised by that because I really was going in here like, I know this is going to be awful.
It's not too bad. There is some football in it. Obviously, they have to show how some of the games play out, but it really is a series about, or at least the first 2 episodes are, why you should care. Why is this important? What are the stakes involved? What does it mean to get promoted up to the next level? And it's not just, we're in the next level, that means we're better. No, there's more money involved. There's more exposure. They get more benefits from the football association where they're talking about. It's like, so it's not just, we're now in the better league. We can scout better players. We can get better deals.
This is just that. This is just one aspect of it. Of like before Ryan and Rob took over, it was like a local double glazing, it was a trailer company was the top sponsor, the local trailer company. By the time get to the end, TikTok and somebody else is sponsoring them. There's a massive difference in who's doing it. So it's a very interesting series. It's going to be great to see people watching this one. Brings a lot of attention onto Wrexham. This really gives them a real big shot in the arm to kind of get people, and also this could be a way of if Americans then going to pick a team to support. This one is a way of bringing people, new supporters in. It's just good all the way around. I really look at the lines of this is just. It just worked, and if they can build it up, because it's that kind of thing. I'm not a sports fan, but sports stories can be, I've said before, with like Safety, Rise, all these kind of movies and documentaries and stuff. I like learning about them. I just don't like watching. So it's good.
But that's again why we should care, and they do a good job of juxtaposing, like Manchester United or these guys, and here's Wembley Stadium, and it's this gigantic stadium, and then here's Wrexham, and you're like, I think my high school had a bigger stadium than you guys have.
Well, I'll be honest. I know when this did actually get me. I know when I went to North Carolina and we went to a college game. Now I'd never seen a game of American football. I played a lot of Madden, so I did understand. That was my knowledge of NFL comes from playing John Madden. So I remember going to this stadium. We got like a student rate because my tour guide knew somebody. And I remember going, this is like 90 to 100,000 fans with flyovers. It's like, this is like Premier League kind of, and it's like, oh, this is just college. So yeah. Our high school college is literally 3 people sat, maybe 3 parents standing around the field. There wasn't a thing like this. We don't have that whole thing.
It's a completely different culture, and it's kind of mind-boggling how crazy they are. But yeah, you see the Wrexham Stadium, and you're like, oh yeah, it's only like 15 rows deep and covered in tin.
Well, recently we went to an Elton John concert, and it was in a rugby stadium, and again you can see it. But yeah, it's a very interesting thing of how all this works.
In any event, this is really good. It's over on Hulu here in the States, and I will be watching the rest of this series. It's very good.
Moving on from there, let's now talk about Only Murders in the Building. So we've got the finale this past week of season 2. So we're only going to spoil this, but it's been out for 5 days. So, we're in that zone. What did you think of the whole series and the finale as a whole?
That's an interesting question because I could think 2 very different things about them. The series as a whole, wasn't that good overall, but I did like the finale for the most
Yeah.
part. For the most part, let's talk about the ending.
Yeah.
They tried so very hard to make it into a series of gotchas, a series of twists, and it was just like, come on, we know who did it. You don't have to play this out, please.
My thing with this series was like, it started out really good.
Mhm.
It kind of, you know, it felt comfortable. We were back into it, and there was a bit of mystery with it. And then in the middle, it was just like, where is this going? You know, just like, and they were getting stupider. It felt like they were getting stupider, and it was like more gags. And I'm really glad Amy Swimmer was only in the one episode, so I was glad with that. Yeah, it's like they didn't need her at all, did they? They could have not even done that whole storyline.
I mean, I get it. Like, Sting was only in an episode or two of season 1, and she's supposed to be replacing him. But at the same time, it's like, we got Amy Schumer. Okay, so I kept expecting her to show up as part of the plot. She just wasn't. But yeah, no, you're talking about like, where's this going? You know, a lot of times we're like, where's this going? I want to see next episode. And instead, this was more like, what are you guys smoking? What is going on here?
It's still a lot of fun though, isn't it? It's kind of one of those things of like, you get to the end of it and you go, well, that wasn't amazing, but it's still fun. I still enjoyed watching it.
But most of it comes from the actors, and it's not just the 3 core actors. They've got a good cast of secondary characters and cameos. Like, we had a very interesting cameo at the end of the second one here. But yeah, the writing just wasn't up on it. You could tell they really wanted to keep us guessing, keep us going by surprise, but it meant that the plot just got stupider and stupider. I kind of checked out around the time of the glitter bomb and the following episode, where it's like, Mabel just stabbed this dude on the subway, and then it's like, we're just gonna gloss past that. And she doesn't remember it, and the police never talked to her about it. It's on film. Like you can see it.
Yeah, I actually could have done quite easily without having like Theo and the son involved at all. We didn't need them. That whole storyline just doesn't seem to be necessary in the slightest. I know there's a little bit of trying to rebuild the son back up, but I don't know. And there wasn't enough Winnie. That's what I missed. I needed more of the bulldog. But overall, I enjoyed it. I'd probably say like 7 out of 10. It just didn't quite get to that same level as that first season. There seemed to be a lot of bumbling. There's just too much bumbling around, and like the whole stuff with the painting and all the rest was like, it's like they were throwing too many red herrings to kind of throw everybody off. But they were like, but again, Steve Martin and Martin, they're just funny to watch. I just enjoyed it. It was just light-hearted fun, and I did enjoy it.
At least this time around, the killer did not first appear in like episode 7. The character's actually been around for quite some time. So it's not one of those like, there's no way you could have guessed who it was because you didn't even know who the character was until halfway through the series. So points to that. But otherwise, it really did feel like the writers just desperately were throwing plot points out in the hope that we would be distracted from the core story. And honestly, they probably could have just shaved 3 episodes off of this, and it would have been much tighter and much more focused. The first season's far superior. This isn't terrible, but it's harder to recommend. The hook for season 3, I mean, we already knew season 3 was coming.
That looks good.
It looks entertaining. It depends on what they do, because we don't have as many details. This time it is not immediately, we Victor, someone's dead. We've got a 1-year gap, and we're going to have to see presumably a lot of flashbacks into that 1-year gap.
I did love I just like Selena. You kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a kind of thing of there was a whole thing obviously with is it Paul Rudd being in it? Yeah. We kind of knew he was in it because there was a cast photo, but there was like all these stories going out. And I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit like, I decided not to run the story on the day because it was a little bit like, well, that's kind of like a major event of like his Grogu kind of thing. I know it was a little bit, but I overall enjoyed it. Right, final one, She-Hulk, episode 2. What did you think of this one?
It was an enjoyable episode. You can see the humor starting to come into the show. There's a lot more of that built into it. We get our first major cameo other than regular Hulk, and we can kind of see where the show is going. And I enjoyed it. This is kind of more of a part 1 of 2 kind of deal. I'm guessing I've not seen 3 or 4 or any of those, but because this ends
Yes,
on the
yeah,
this ends on the cliffhanger
yeah,
of her going,
yeah.
all right, I will represent Abomination, and then going, oh, that scene from Shang-Chi where he's fighting against Wong
Yeah,
goes viral.
because I've seen the first 4 episodes, so I'm trying to remember. I did watch the episode again yesterday, to try to make, and I'm like going, yeah. So it is basically a 2-parter, and it's going to bring Wong in, but we knew that from the trailer anyway.
Right.
But yeah, no, I like I said before, I've really enjoyed this series. I think having the 4 at once meant I was able to kind of get the gist of the show a little bit quicker, because you're going at a slightly slower pace, so you're getting a little bit. Very interesting to see the reaction to, because it is a really strong debut. I mean, it was 1.5 million US households watched it, double that of Miss Marvel, up there with like Moon Knight and Hawkeye. So a lot more people watched it, and a lot of people raving over it. The second episode, it seemed to be a lot of people going, I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of fun. There was some great stuff in it, but I don't think a lot of people grasp this comedy 22, 23-minute episode of like, where's the rest of it? It's a sitcom. It's the same length as a sitcom. And I think people had kind of gotten into the idea that they were getting we just had an hour-long Game of Thrones episode. Why are we putting up with 20 minutes? And it's like, because it's a sitcom. That's the point of it.
Yeah, this is not Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. This is She-Hulk, and I'm enjoying the format. We talked about it a bit more. I'm kind of ready for a little bit lower stakes, a little more tongue-in-cheek story. They don't all have to be the world is ending kind of deal, but I can see why people would not be quite as, especially with Moon Knight still fairly fresh in our memory, things like that. But yeah, the humor is starting to show up, and that's more in line with what I'm expecting.
I don't know as well of like, I don't know if this one skews a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, maybe us, if we're a bit older, we kind of grew up on sitcoms being a much more, and like I've seen there was quite a few threads on Reddit, on Twitter, on Facebook of like, I would imagine in some ways like I would say younger people that are used to binging, not quite so. Well, I've got to wait another week for like a 20-minute episode. Like this is what we always had. We grew up on this. It doesn't seem that strange to us, but I think there is a little bit of a generational difference. Not for everyone, but there is a little bit of a generation thing of like they're not used to, because sitcoms. If you actually think of sitcoms, there's not really been a lot of new ones for the last like.
No, I think
5 years. There's not been anything major kind of break through the same way.
Yeah, I think Modern Family was like the last of the,
and that finished a while ago.
That finished a while ago. I mean, they're still making them, and there's still ones that are popular, but there aren't ones that have kind of become huge hits the way those ones have. Which isn't to say it's better or worse.
Yeah.
Nostalgia is a thing, and so on. But yeah, it's a different format. It's targeting a different type of storytelling, and yeah, this is how it's going to come out. If you want, you can wait until the end. You can wait until the last episode comes out and then binge it if that is your preference, but you will have to avoid spoilers as a result of that. That's just the way it is. But
it's a fun, it's much more fun. I feel like it feels like it's more of an entertain. I feel like I'm being entertained and being fun. There's a bit of humor in there, there's some action, and it's just so tonally different from anything we've seen from the Disney Plus, and it feels like we're watching a proper series. It does feel more like a tradition. They've kind of leaned in on what it was. I think most people just want more of it because they're enjoying. I think it's almost that kind of thing of like people are enjoying it and they want more of it, and they're not. And rather than kind of getting to that was it's, obviously you're always going to have some people that don't like stuff, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe is no longer for everybody. You can't do this scale and please everybody. It's just impossible.
That's very true. And there are some threads that are running through here. We're starting to see some potential storylines running through the entire series too. So it's not entirely Monster of the Week. And I don't even mean like this is a two-parter. I mean like what is going on with Bruce and that spaceship and things like that. Is that going to come back? Is that going to be part of the plot, or is it setting something else up? Who knows? You might have a better idea than the rest of us.
We don't. That's it. I can safely say I don't know what happens to Hulk after you've
off. So we'll see if that ends up being something. But there's also some other threads, and they introduce the family, and
It's just more. I think it's that feeling, and I felt like this a little bit with Miss Marvel, where I like the feeling of like having a family, and because we haven't they've never been able to explore that the same way in the movies, and I like that humanization because in the comic books and stuff they aren't always just you know and I feel like people that maybe don't read comic books aren't aware of like comic books go all over the place in terms of storylines and stuff, and they don't always just do the same thing. And I feel like with superheroes, kind of people were expecting like something very similar. But there's so much choice now. I mean, yeah, She-Hulk is nothing like the other ones, and that's good. I'm enjoying that aspect.
Yeah, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the cameos. That's part of the appeal of the show too. Getting Abomination back was entertaining. It was fun to see him doing that and him having a very different take on the character than he was in the Incredible Hulk. And
did you catch on that little thing of when Hulk kind of goes, "I'm a different person now," literally?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Just like you're like they're having a bit of fun with it, and I'm Marvel it's not always serious, and I like a little bit of humor in stuff, and it's what always I think that was always a good thing. And but if you like your superheroes gritty and dark like the Boys or Batman, then this just isn't just for you.
Yeah, no, this is very different tonally from those, which is fine. You can like the Boys and also She-Hulk or Miss Marvel. We as people are not stuck into just a single genre unless you want to force yourself into it, but that's your call, I guess. Either way, very much looking forward to the rest of this series. So far, it's hitting my expectations, and I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it.
That's good. Well, we'd love to know your thoughts on all of today's news. What are you looking forward to watching in September? What are you looking forward to on Disney Plus Day? Are you going to be watching any of the D23 stuff? And your thoughts on Welcome to Wrexham and She-Hulk? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to go check us out over at what's on at disneyplus.com. We'll be back next week with another episode. And obviously, check out the channel for news throughout the week. And on that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. Later. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Also, a huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and also on our YouTube channel memberships. And I shall see you guys in another video. Laters.